you a British person living abroad? Did you know there's a vote coming up for a general election on the 4th of July? If not, where have you been? But there's a vote for the Prime Minister or the current sitting MPs in the House of Parliament happening on the 4th of July, and you have to register it by the 18th of June, which is pretty soon. If you are one of these people that fits that Venn diagram of living abroad and being British, then I've put in the description a link to the gov.uk website for registering to vote, because I believe they've changed the eligibility criteria so that it's no longer capped to 15 years living away. So if you are, or if you have been living away for over 15 years, you might now be able to vote in the current election. So please do go and do some research on that and see if you can, because it would be great to have your vote as someone who's got an opinion on how the country's run, because I'm sure it affects you if you've got your pension here or a business here or family here or friends here. You know, you'll have an opinion on how the country should still be run, so you should have a right on casting your vote as someone who's a citizen. So if you are one of those people who are living abroad and are, you know, a British citizen, then there are a few steps you might have to follow in order to make sure you can vote and that you're ready to vote. First of all, you've got to, you know, check that you are eligible. So you are over the age of 18 before the election date. You need to prove that you have lived here or you know your last constituency. Likelihood is you'll have that on record somewhere. I think if you are an overseas worker and have been registered in the last 3 years, it might still exist, but do go check it out. Do go follow the link in the description, and you'll be able to follow all the instructions and, you know, get yourself registered. Once you've proven you're eligible, then you can register. So do go do that, because it's important. And please be aware that you have until midnight UK time, or 23:59 on the 18th of June, which is a Monday, next Monday, to register. So please bear that in mind and make sure you've looked at what you need to kind of have to hand before you register, because it might take some time if you haven't got those documents and might need to start rummaging around for them. So please be aware of doing that. You also need to decide what your metric of voting is. So you could come back to the UK, go to your constituency, walk into the polling booth, tick your box, go home, get a nice cup of tea, and then start your merry trip back to where you're living now, which might be expensive, might be costly, but if you've got family here, or you've got friends, or you've got a reason to come back, then you can tie it in with a trip. Else, you could look to vote by post. So you just basically fill out your ballot form and submit it via the post early, and they'll get it to count on election day. Or you could do, I believe there's an online version of that now, which is a bit easier, but you'll need to just double check that if it's possible where you're living. And then lastly, you can vote by proxy, which means that you can nominate someone to vote in your absence. So just double check that. If there's someone eligible for you and they're going already, maybe that's an option you wish to do, but you have to then share all your vote is with someone else, which people may not be comfortable doing, because, you know, voting is a personal choice people have, and I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. I don't really care, as long as you're doing your due diligence, doing your research, well read, and understand what the policies are, and have made an informed decision on what works best for you or your opinions. Great, you've done the thing we need to do. You've exercised democracy well, and that's all we can ask of anyone to do, really. Yeah. Do make sure you know your mechanism of voting, or you have someone you trust to vote for you if you wish to vote by proxy. Lastly, wanted to just say thank you for being abroad and finding this video, and I hope you're enjoying your time there. I hope you've got some great stories. I hope it has been, you know, worth the journey, worth the trip. Let me know in the comments where you are, what you do, and why you left the UK, and you know, what brought you to your new home. If you do wish to share your story, then reach out. I do interview people about their stories of living abroad, and if you wish to share yours, then yeah, let's arrange a call and let's have some time to discuss how, why, and when you did your amazing journey. As always, you can look at the other episodes I've done for reference if you wish. There's some great anecdotes and great tips from people who are living abroad, and great inspiration as well if you are looking to move abroad. Although this video might be useless for you if that's the case, because you should be able to vote now. I also don't just do British people, but with the election, with being British, it kind of falls into the Venn diagram of what my channel's about. But I do also talk to anyone who's lived anywhere, from anywhere. if that also falls into you, then please do go and check me out. Let me know if you wish to get on the podcast and have a chat. Lastly, I hope you've enjoyed this little video, I suppose, and are able to share it with your friends and family who this might be applicable for, so we can get as many people who are able to vote to go and vote, and we can have an election with a very high turnout, because that way we get a good cross-section of society who's turned up and made a choice for how the country wishes to be run in the future. Again, don't care what your opinion is on that. I just want there to be a fair result, and hopefully we can have a brighter future coming out of the election in a few weeks. Anyway, I'll see you next time for the Expat Pod.